Hello everyone, this is Mike from Milestone 20. Today we're going to go over the Astral Elf from the Travels or the Multiverse, how I built that UA race up into D&D Beyond's Homebrew. In a previous video I have talked about the release of the Spelljammer Academy that happened today, and there is a link to a campaign you can join, and actually you can use my homebrew if you join the campaign. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I've got here is I've got the Astral Elf, and there's some tricks to making homebrew if anybody hasn't followed that along. There are some tricks in copying some of the other stuff from another race. So you can go select a race and copy that over. So what I've got is I've gone in and created the Astral Elf, and I believe I based it on the elf race. Some of these other ones where there are potentially size changes, and I'll go over that in each race in its own video. But some of the size ones were a little challenging because you're using some of the new mechanics, and these are all using the new creating your character mechanics of you have the different ability score increases that aren't assigned to something. You can basically pick which they go to. The new language rules, the new creature type rules, the lifespan, height and weight, all of these are using those new mechanics. So let's go ahead and go into the Astral Elf here. You can see I have all this creating your character stuff already populated in here. So if we look at the traits for the Astral Elf, you'll see we've got a description up here where long ago groups of elves ventured in from the Feywild to the astral plane. Come down here, we've got one of the age things is Astral Elves don't dwell on the astral plane and can live to be over 750 years old. So let's get into the traits here. You'll see on the left-hand screen here the Astral Elf traits. So creature type, you're a humanoid. Size, you're medium. Your walking speed is 30. You have the Astral Fire ability. So you can choose a cantrip. You have Dark Vision. You have Fey Ancestry. You have Keen Senses. You have Radiant Soul ability, Trance ability, and then Trance proficiencies. So I've gone and built in these mechanics, and you can see we have links here to the different conditions, like the charm condition and the perception. So if we take a look at this race, I'm going to go ahead and into the edit. We'll just go into the basic stuff. Again, size medium, speed 30. They don't have any other speeds. We don't need a short description. This long description here is basically this whole long description. And then of course we get the character creation information here. And the racial trait introduction, I basically just copied straight over from Astral Elf traits over to here. You have the following racial traits. I didn't put any avatars on here, but let's go ahead and take a look at the racial traits. Now it says we have 12 here. Keep in mind creature type, speed, languages, ability score increases, size, all of those are included in there. So for our creature type, you're a humanoid, It's very simple. We'll go ahead and take a look at it. You'll set it as creature type. Snippet is you are humanoid, you are humanoid. It does have a display order. The first two orders are the ability score and language, I believe. So this is the third one in the order. I hide it in the sheet. You know, you can not hide it, but most of the races, as I said, I copied this over from the base elf. This was already here set up this way. If you're setting this up brand new, make sure you're setting the feature type as granted. Is called out is linked a lot. That is something that you can look at. Basically, what it is in the character builder. It will list it out in the racial pieces, which sometimes you want to, sometimes you don't. Whereas humanoid, most of them don't have that, and we don't have any other options, modifiers, spells, etc. here for creature type. So I'll go ahead and close this. Speed. It is basically just setting your speed. Your walking speed is 30 feet. We're displaying it as order 5th, which is, again, if creature type is 3, speed is 5. Again, no modifiers here. If there was a swim speed or something like that, or a climbing speed, we might have some changes, but walking speed, we don't need to do anything special here. So I'm gonna call these out in order. So creature type was 3, size should be 4, and we already covered speed, which was 5. So size, your medium, again, there's nothing special here. It's just some text to say that you're medium, and then you set the display order. You can have these display in the sheet, which it will, because hide and sheet is not checked. Yeah, very basic. So speed we already did. Astral Fire. Let's go take a look at Astral Fire. So display order is 6, which is where it should be. Astral Fire is, one of the following cantrips of your choice: Dancing Lights, Light, or Sacred Flame. What I've done here is listed this out. So we've got the text up above. The only thing we've really done here is we've added spells down lower, and I'll go ahead and edit this as well so we can take a look. We've just added the cantrip level, and stat modifier is addition. There's nothing really fancy here. Counts as a known spell? No. Consumes a spell slot? No, because they're cantrips. So, so what this will do is, in the character creation, it'll allow you to choose a cantrip. Now, keep in mind, it's going to list all the cantrips because we don't have an ability in the homebrew to filter to only certain spells. But and because I didn't set to use a specific modifier, and the reason for that is you don't know what your spell casting ability is going to be. So, wisdom, intelligence, charisma is your spell casting ability for whichever you choose. Again, D&D Beyond, when they release the races, will have this built into the mechanics, but the homebrew doesn't have the ability to set that. So you're going to kind of have to go by that in the sheet. So anyway, so that is Astral Fire. Next down is dark vision, which is pretty simple. Sorry, let me go back. Dark vision, again, is very simple. You see in dim light and darkness up to 60 feet. Short description, long description. The order is 7. It's called out on the builder, and it will display in the sheet. As far as a modifier goes, basically what we're doing here is we're going to do the set base, and then we're going to use dark vision as the modifier subtype, and then we're just giving it a fixed value of 60. Fey Ancestry is the next one. And again, I copied a base elf race to get most of this stuff. So it was already built into the model, and then I just had to remove the extra stuff from that one and add the other features. So this one is Fey Ancestry. We basically just got the snippet and the description. Again, here the reason why this looks this way is this is basically how you code it to have the charmed section highlighted, so that when you hover over, it should pop up the tooltips, which I can show that in a little bit. There is a modifier here, and that you get advantage on saving throws, and basically it just says advantage saving throws, and in the character sheet it will say against being charmed and magic can't put you to sleep. This was very simple to do, because all you're doing is putting the modifier type as advantage, modifier subtype as saving throws, and then you just put that text in here in the details. Okay. Keen senses. Again, just text in here that you have proficiency in the perception skill, and we've coded it here so that you'll be able to highlight it. And in modifiers, we add proficiency perception, so it automatically sets that skill as proficient. And again, how we do that is we choose the modifier type as proficiency, subtype is perception, and that's as simple as that. So next up is Radiant Soul. Now this one took a little bit for me to figure out some of the things in here. So Radiant Soul, when you succeed on a death save, you can regain hit points, a number equal to your proficiency bonus plus your intelligence, wisdom, or charisma. And again, wherever you choose this race, what I'm doing is I'm just doing this coding in here. Hopefully you can see this. But basically it's proficiency plus modifier in wisdom, charisma, and then pound unsigned. And what that does is it takes your proficiency bonus and adds in modifier of int, wisdom, or charisma, whichever is the largest. And so it will come out and it'll tell you in the snippet exactly how many hit points. And you can't use this trait against you finish a long rest. So again, down here we just have the straight basic description. There is an action that we had to use. And the action is basically adding the checkbox to whether you. So on the character sheet, it'll actually have a checkbox. So the action type is general, Radiant Soul, and down here we have the reset type is a long rest, and I've done the snippet again and the description again, and in here you can see we're just limited use 1, so there's a base of 1. So basically what this is going to do is this puts a checkbox underneath the feature in the character sheet to where you can tick that when you've used it, just to keep track. And then of course where it says reset is a long rest, where was that again? Yeah, reset type is a long rest. That means when your character takes when you take a long rest on your character sheet, it will reset that checkbox. And how we set this limited use, it's pretty simple. You add number of uses 1, and that was pretty much all we needed. The plus addition are just automatically filled out. So that's one to call out. What I will do at the end of this is I'm going to build up a character, and we'll take a look at the character. So it's Radiant Soul Trance. Again, this is just a basic elf trait. So we have, you don't need sleep, and magic can't wait you to sleep. You finish a long rest in 4 hours. We've set the display order. There's no extra modifiers or anything there. And then trance proficiencies. Now this one, so whenever you finished a long rest, you can gain 2 proficiencies, 1 each with a weapon or tool of your choice. So whenever we go into this, a little bit longer description, but basically you mystically acquire these proficiencies by drawing from shared elven memory, and you retain them until you finished a long rest. And there really are no additional modifiers here. This is not a mechanic that you can really do. I'm going to guess this is probably in D&D Beyond's generic feature system that they're trying to build, to where you would have something like this. Who knows? Maybe the race will come out when they actually publish it, when the Spelljammer books get released. So anyway, so that was basically just text. So we've gone over all of the features. What I want to do is go through, and I've just got a basic character in here. I haven't, you can see there's no race and no class selected. So we're going to come in here, and you can see I've checked Homebrew already. So if we go and look at the race, you can see I have a bunch of races in here, but let's take a look at the Astral Elf. Now see, these are the things that were called out. Remember how we said that ability score increases? If we take a look at that, that is display order number 1. That's number 1 here. So the ability score increase, it basically goes over the generic changes here. Languages, these are basically the post Tasha's new monsters of the multiverse type settings. Languages, again, monsters of the multiverse, Tasha's type new creation rules. And that's number 2. Creature type. Remember we said creature type was number 3. That's here. Size is 4. Speed is 5. Astral Fire, it gives the description. Dark Vision, Fey Ancestry, Keen Senses, Radiant Soul, Trance Proficiencies. So we're going to go ahead and choose the race. And immediately you can see, hey, here's how you do your ability score. So you can either do 3 ability scores at +1 or 2 at +2, 1 at +2 and 1 at +1. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and you can see the difference between the +1, it gives you 3 choices. +2, it gives you 2 choices. So we're just going to go Charisma and Con for the heck of it. When I choose a race, or a class, I'm just going to choose something like Fighter. That's very generic. So language, we can choose any language. We'll choose Celestial. Why not? Actually, we're an elf. Let's choose Sylvan. Astral Fire. Okay. So this is where we choose our cantrip. Now it does give the description that I did. So it's telling you have to choose Dancing Lights, Light, or Sacred Flame. It does give you basically a listing of all the cantrips because I just said it's a cantrip. So let's just choose, for the heck of it, let's just choose Sacred Flame. We do the description of all the other pieces here. Radiant Soul tells you, what your proficiencies are, your hit points after a death save. Trance proficiencies. Okay, so we're going to move on from here. Go to class. And again, like I said, I'm just going to do single level of fighter. I'm going to skip the fighting style and the proficiencies so you can see the proficiencies that came from the race. And ability score, I'm going to basically go with commoner stats. So you'll see commoner base stats. So you'll see the stat bonuses that I chose. Again, if you don't like where we chose it in the race, you can choose it here. Gives you the basic stats. We'll go next. I'm not going to choose the language or anything here. Again, here's your language. You can go back and choose with your background. If you don't like that, you can change that here, or you can change and choose the background here. But I'm going to leave the background out because I don't want any extra features. So we're going to just go ahead and create the new character. You see our speed is 30 feet. Some of the basics here of the sheet. The Fey Ancestry, you get the advantage against being charmed, and magic can't put you to sleep. You get the perception. And our language we chose was common, and you can see where it came from here. If we look at this, you can see some more information about perception. Let's go into the actual racial features, though. So you can see your ability score choices. You can see your language choice. You can see we're medium. And of course, you can see the flyout. Size, we're medium. Astral Fire, again, this is a custom piece, so it shows which one we chose. Dark Vision, again, this is the snippet. And this is the longer description. So if you were wondering in those, as we were building that out, the two pieces, snippet is in the actual sheet. The flyout sidebar is the long description. The Ancestry, Keen Senses, and we saw that on the front sheet. Radiant Soul. Now remember how I talked about how you would have a checkbox here? So if we choose this, we say we've got it. Now keep in mind it says when you choose a death save, you can regain 2 hit points, which was, again, there's that piece there. If I go back to my ability scores, you'll see intelligence, wisdom, charisma is not a bonus, but constitution is. I'll go back and we'll fix that and add it to charisma. But we're going to finish out this piece here. But you see that it's basically just adding my proficiency. Trance, you don't need anything in trance proficiencies. Those were just some basic information on both of those. Radiant Soul, if we want, you can see more information here. Let's jump over to spells. You'll see we have the Sacred Flame spell, so it's added that in for us. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to go back in here, change my ability scores, and I'm gonna give me a 14 on charisma. Okay, so now you see I have a +2 modifier there. So my proficiency is +2 and my charisma is +2. So now if we go back over to the features, you'll see the Radiant Soul now gives you 4 hit points, which is proficiency plus a +2 proficiency and a +2 on charisma. So anyway, that's the basics of the sheet. Let me pop this one out so we can see it as a regular sheet view here. You can kind of see things a little bit more clearer here. Here's your advantage. Here's your perception bonus. Your languages. We've got the long rest here for Radiant Soul that's checked. So I'm going to go ahead and take a long rest. And now you see the long rest is cleared for Radiant Soul. So you get the basic idea of this character. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to leave them. I will be continuing on with the rest of the races. So if you're interested in another one, there will be another video for those specific races. But if you like what I'm doing here, please give me a like, or if you like what I'm doing, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. And I will link the campaign and the link to the Astral Elf below. To get access to the Astral Elf, you will have to join the campaign. And you could build your character there, and then you can leave the campaign. You can stay in the campaign, and if you click on the link to the homebrew, you could add it to your collection. Just keep in mind that as soon as you leave the campaign, you will lose access to the homebrew. Like I said, at the start of the video, this is not my content, so I can't actually publish it. Thank you very much, and have a good day.